Hello, my name is Beck and welcome to a spoiler-free reading guide for Robin Hobb. So my aim for this video is to summarise what each of Robin Hobb's books are about, to also tell you what books that link together in her different series, and then overall advise you what order to read them in so you don't accidentally spoil yourself. And personally, I'd recommend reading them in publication order. I just want to make a quick note before we begin to let you know that Robin Hobb is actually a pen name for the author Megan Lindholm. So overall the books that I'm going to be talking about in this video are from her Elderlings series and not from any of her other series like the Soldier Son trilogy that she's written under Robin Hobb, or for any of the books that she's written under her name Megan Lindholm. So here is a visual representation of the Elderlings series by Robin Hobb and the breakdown of them in publication order and which flow and order you should read them in. You can pick and choose and start in different places, which I'll explain over the course of this video. And here is just another breakdown of her other series written also as Robin Hobb but as Megan Lindholm as well. This is just my recommendation of the order you should read them in. You can read them in whichever order that you want to, but publication order is what has worked best for me. So I'm just going to hold up all of the books by Robin Hobb in her Elderlings series in their publication order so you can get an idea of what they look like. So first up we have the FARSEER trilogy, and that consists of Assassin's Apprentice, which is book 1. And then we've got Royal Assassin, which is the second book. And then the third book in the FARSEER trilogy is Assassin's Quest. After the FARSEER trilogy we've got the LIVESHIP Traders trilogy, and so the first book in that series is The Ship of Magic, which is book 1. And then book 2 of the LIVESHIP Traders is Mad Ship. And then the third book in the LIVESHIP Traders series is Ship of Destiny. After that we've got the TAWNY Mann trilogy, and the first book is Fool's Errand. The second book is The Golden Fool, and then the third book is Fool's Fate. Next up after the TAWNY Mann trilogy we have the Rainwild Chronicle, and that is a quartet of 4 books, and the first book in that series is The Dragon Keeper. Then we've got Dragonhaven, which is book 2. Book 3 is City of Dragons. And then book 4 is Blood of Dragons. And then the last trilogy in Robin Hobb's Elderling series is the FITZ and Fool trilogy, and the first one in that series is Fool's Assassin. The second book is Fool's Quest, and then the final book is Assassin's Fate. I just want to tell you about the magic system really quick before I jump into the synopses of Robin Hobb's books. So the magic system across this series consists of 2 types of telepathic magics. One is called the skill and one is called the wit. The skill is a telepathic magic that's associated with linking people together, and you can kind of form a coterie, which is like a group, to strengthen this telepathic magic, or you can use it on your own and develop it individually as well. So it's fairly multifaceted, but then you get the wit, which is a little bit different. When it comes to the wit, people tend to shun it in this series because people who connect to animals through the wit tend to take on minute animal tendencies, and so they're associated with being a little bit more bestial than the average human, and that's why it gets looked down on in the society that Robin Hobb has created. So when I say the skill is telepathic, it does get used for communication, but it's got a lot more breadth than that, and it can be used for a variety of different purposes, but I don't want to spoil what they are. You kind of find out the intricacies of it as the series progresses. So now that I've talked a little bit about the magic, let's jump into the synopses of these books, and I'll start with the FARSEER trilogy. So Assassin's Apprentice is book 1 of this entire saga, and it is followed up by Royal Assassin and then Assassin's Quest. This book follows our main character FITZ Chivalry FARSEER, and he has both the skill and the wit magics, which is quite rare to manifest in one person. Young FITZ is actually the illegitimate bastard son of Prince Chivalry FARSEER, but to avoid a royal scandal he's been taken in by stable master Burrich. From the age of 6, FITZ has been raised in the stables to avoid the dangers of court, but then when he's old enough he is quietly taught the art of being an assassin in order to protect the royal family. FITZ attends classes to learn the skill, which is one of the telepathic magics that I mentioned before, and he's also privately trained by Prince Verity, who is his uncle, and he's kind of the only family member that FITZ connects with. While FITZ is growing up at Buckkeep in the Six Duchies, there's a war with the Out Islanders occurring at the same time. The Six Duchies are being attacked by the Red Ship Raiders, and people are somehow being stripped of who they are and then returned to the duchies essentially as zombies. These zombie-like people have little to no memory of who they used to be, and FITZ also can't sense them with his wit magic either. So in this book we have FITZ who's growing up and learning the art of assassination and also how to use his magics. And so while FITZ is trying to figure himself out, there's also a war going on between his people and the Red Ship Raiders. All of these politics and power dynamics end up putting FITZ in a horrible, risky situation where he's sent on his first assassination mission to the Mountain Kingdom, and that forms the basis of book 1. I would recommend this book as a key starting point to the Elderlings series because it's a very slow burning and deep book, and it really deals with Fitz having to balance love and duty to himself and to the royal court, while he's also figuring out his own magic and how that works within his personal life. Next up, after the FARSEER trilogy, I'm going to be talking about the LIVESHIP Traders trilogy, and that starts with the Ship of Magic. And of course, following Ship of Magic is Mad Ship and then Ship of Destiny. This book does take place in the same world as the FARSEER trilogy, but it takes place across the map, and it doesn't follow Fitz and the collection of characters that you've grown to know in the first trilogy. This follows a different set of characters altogether. This story takes place across the map in Bingtown, right near the Rain Wilds. We mainly follow the character Althea Vestrit, daughter of a rich traditional merchant family in Bingtown. She's expecting to inherit her family's live ship after her father passes away. Now, a live ship is made of wizard wood, which is a magical substance, giving it magical properties. What makes a live ship special is when 3 generations of the family die on board the ship and their essence is absorbed into the wood. The ship then quickens, and by quickens I mean it comes alive, and it can be communicated with by the figurehead of the ship. The premise for Ship of Magic is when Althea's father dies on the ship and quickens it with his spirit, Althea expects the ship to go to her. But her father left it to her sister Kefria, who then gave it to her husband Kyle, and he's essentially a pirate, and he believes he can restore the family fortune by entering the slave trade. To stop him, Althea disguises herself as a male sailor and sneaks into his crew. The Ship of Magic or Assassin's Apprentice are perfect starting points for the Elderlings series because if you start with either one, you won't encounter any spoilers for the other. But if you want to continue reading in the Elderlings series, I would recommend going for this first or this second, or vice versa. So both of these are really good foundations. This now brings me to the TAWNY Mann trilogy, which starts out with Fool's Errand. And of course, this one is followed by The Golden Fool and then Fool's Fate. Fitz, who is now in adulthood, is appearing in court under the alias of Tom Badgerlock, and he's seeking skill users to form a royal coterie, which is kind of like a group that would strengthen their skill using. While Fitz is doing this, the Queen is planning a royal arranged marriage for her son. This betrothal will form an alliance between 2 warring nations, the Out Islands and the 6 Duchies, or so the Queen hopes. But the Out Island princess declares an impossible task of slaying an ancient dragon in order for her to agree to the wedding. This impossible task sends Fitz on what he believes to be a fool's errand, as the Queen's son has vanished and he has to find him in time for the ceremony, which will make or break a political alliance. After the TAWNY Mann trilogy concludes, we end up jumping away from Fitz's story again, so we go into the Rainwild Chronicles Quartet. So the first book in the Rainwild Chronicle is Dragon Keeper, and that is followed up by Dragonhaven, City of Dragons, and then Blood of Dragons. This series is actually linked to the LIVESHIP Traders series, so if you haven't read the LIVESHIP Traders series before you read this, it will make enough sense for you to continue reading it, but you'll probably miss a few key cameos that will make the story a little bit richer if you know about the LIVESHIP Traders before reading this. Dragons are making their journey upriver for the first time in generations, but they're stunted and are missing the memories that would help them on this quest. A band of dragon keepers is recruited to help them journey far upriver to the ruins of the legendary ancient Elderling city, where they're hoping to find a home and some answers about their history. Our key characters in this series are Sintara, Thymera, Alice, and Leftrin. Sintara is a newly formed dragon who ends up bonding with Thymera. Thymera is a girl who's been tainted by the Rainwilds. Her skin is scaly in places, and her society shuns her for this abnormality. Alice is a researcher and a self-taught academic who wishes to travel, but she's forced into a marriage that she doesn't want. And Leftrin is the captain of the live ship called Tarman, who is interested in the dragons, and he captains the crew who ferries the dragon keepers upriver. So across this quartet, you have this myriad of human and non-human characters all on a quest to some ancient city that no one has visited in generations. And lastly, we're up to the final installment in the Elderlings series. It is the Fitz and Fool trilogy, beginning with Fool's Assassin. Following this, we have Fool's Quest and then Assassin's Fate. By this point in the series, there are a lot of spoilers floating around, so I want to be as brief and spoiler-free as I can in this section, so forgive me if this is a little bit vague. Fitz has allowed everybody to believe that he's died, except for his close friends and family. He now lives secluded away from the royal court under his alias Tom Badgerlock. However, a new threat to his survival is dredged up when an assassin is caught at his home. Fitz is now driven away from his peaceful life in an effort to save everything he loves from destruction. This series is very much about Fitz realizing that he's aged, but he's still trying to use his skills and magic he developed as an assassin. And it's about him tracking down the cult that has kidnapped somebody that's very close to him. This is another multiple perspective book, and Fitz is one of obviously the key characters, but I don't want to say much more than this because of really big spoiler territory. And that is it for my Robin Hobb reading guide. Thank you so much for watching. I will leave down in the description a breakdown of the different books in each series so that you don't have to keep skipping to different parts of this video. I want to say a big thank you to my partner Dave for doing all the animations for this video. He has a YouTube channel as well that I'll link down below, and he does a lot of animation and visual effects and artistic stuff, so you can definitely go and check his work out there. But we had a lot of fun collaborating on this video, so I hope you really enjoyed it. Let me know if you've read any of Robin Hobb's work. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye. Next up after the TAWNY Mann trilogy, we have a quartet, and it... Okay.